Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day with us on Live with Lloyd. I am your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. On this Monday, it is the first Monday in the brand new month of August, and with it, I have it's interesting. Each month is ruled by a number, and as you see, my guest, Neena Diamond, although her name has been spelled different as a result of a couple of I guess about a year ago. Anyway, it's actually now spelled Neena. So I do want to make that correction. Um, but I do want to thank you very, very much for joining us on this Monday, the 5th of August. Mercury is now retrograde. So that means little miscommunications, things of that nature. But anyway, before I do, let me let you know that the sponsors are brought to you by Miss Kimberly, Manifest on Purpose, that comes on every Monday and Wednesday morning. Also, uh, King Simon, he has a salute coming up to Baba de Gregory on October the 13th. Also, um, Intellectual Powers uh, by Rizza Islam. His supplements are just great. Also, who will be on this month is Monique of Nicholas, Brooklyn, because she's carrying on a tradition that her father started 50 years ago in the village of Harlem. Um, Let me do the forecast for today. It is Monday, August the 5th of 2024. The sun is in Leo. The moon is in Virgo. It went into Virgo, in fact, at 5:17 this evening, just about an hour and a half before the show. So, but Mercury's now in retrograde. That started yesterday, officially on the 4th, and it will end on the 28th of this month. It is a 7 universal month, the month that governs the law of attraction. It's an 8 universal week. It's a 3 universal days. So for those under the signs of Pisces and Sagittarius, or if you're born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month, well, obviously it's your day. Before I bring my guest on, I saw an interesting picture that I saw that I wanted to ask you. And the question is this: what do these two have in common? No, it ain't the height. That's obvious. Okay. They're both champions in their own way. Shaquille O'Neal, that I had the pleasure of meeting one time when my boys were smaller, is about six something, and that is Simone Biles, the Olympic champion. In case you don't recognize her dressed up, I think most people are used to seeing her in her gymnastic outfit, but that is her. What they do have in common is they're both, astrologically speaking, Pisces. That's exactly what they have in common. Shaquille O'Neal is born on March the 6th. Simone Biles is born on March the 14th. But I just thought it was so interesting. And I says, I wonder if people would know, because obviously it's not the by height. And as you can see by the size, she looks so teeny. But by herself, and if you've seen her perform on the gymnastic stage, it's just interesting. So that was my little trivia for today. They're Pisces. I don't know what the cardology says. I have a superb cardologist on right now, and let me bring her on. Let me do this. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Um, Here we go. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, Mercury's retrograde. I can tell. Anyway, here is my beautiful guest, Neena Diamond. Neena, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Fine, fine. I do believe you're an eight of diamonds. Today is the eight of diamond day. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
What does that mean when you say eight of diamonds? I know probably people ask you these questions, but it's never nothing like getting a refresher. What is the eight of diamonds?
Well, in cardology, every day has a significant signature to it, and today happens to be an eight of diamonds, which is the Sun card, which is it's an eight, it's ruled by Saturn, and it's a card that has a lot of power attached to it because of the Saturn energy. But in cardology, every day has a significant card attached to it, starting from January 1st all the way throughout the year. So there's a calendar on my page on Instagram. If you want to go look and discover what your card is, you can go over to the page and it tells you what day. You look at the day you were born on, and it gives you the card.
In fact, mine was yesterday. I'm a nine of diamonds, so that is correct,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Nine of diamonds, and tomorrow's a seven of diamonds. So they follow in sequence. So yeah.
So after the diamonds, what comes next? Clubs or spades or hearts?
It's in this season, we're going into heart. Yes, this is heart season starts, and spades is after January. So we're going from clubs to diamonds to hearts.
I
And
have a
then
question. With all of these things that's going on in this crazy, crazy world, what card best reflects all this confusion? People want to go to war. People want to be mean. Is there a card that is expressing all this drama that we seem to be going through, unfortunately?
no, well, we're in what's called a Kali Yuga, and we're 6,000 years in, and this Kali Yuga lasts for thousands and thousands of years, and it's just going to get increasingly worse. It doesn't really have anything to do with the cause, but you can Google and read about the different ages that we were in, and we had the golden age, and we had the silver age, I believe, and I don't know if it was a copy. I'm not sure, but now we're in this age, and this is the age that it is at the end. So at this, in thousands of years, it's not going to be within our lifetime, but in thousands of years we start over again at the golden age. So we just happen to be in this age, and for you to transcend this age, you just got to do the work, get your vibration up, and become the best that you could be, and then you won't have to deal with the things that are happening. There's a lot going on in the world, but it doesn't affect me. So it is what it is.
Question: how did you? How was the name pronounced again?
Kali Yuga.
Kali Yuga.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So in other words, this ain't gonna be just a minute. This is gonna be for a minute, more than a minute. That's
We're
what.
only 6,000 years in, and each yuga could last. It was a time where we lasted. Well, we were our age would go to 1,000, so we could be 1,000 years old. We're just as human beings. We're going through these stages, and this is the last stage. And after this stage, we start over in the golden years. But I'm not coming back, right? I'm going to do everything that I need to do here. I'm of service. I do this work. I teach. I do all of these things, my disciplines that I do every day. So I don't have to be a part of the things that are happening. It's happening, but it's not happening to me. It's happening around me.
Question: how
Mhm.
did you determine you weren't coming back? And if you did come back, what would that mean?
I by my vibration, by being the best that I can be, by being of service. I'm of service. I don't do this because I'm bored. I don't do this. I do this because this is my life path. I have what in my astrology chart, anybody astrology chart shows what you came here to do. And
Hmm.
my Chiron is in the 12th house, and it's in retrograde. So it's telling me that I came back here as a master because I wanted to help. I volunteered to come to help people. So I know I'm not coming back because I have completed this mission.
Well, and helping people can be something else too.
Yeah, everything can be something else. If we're on Earth, we're here for a reason, right? This is Earth, and Earth is a cesspool. What do you want? It is what it is. You came
Well,
here.
it appears that
Ain't no
way.
sense in complaining. We all came here to do what we came here to do. You gotta make the best of it, right? I've learned through my disciplines, through my spiritual practice, through my 30 something years as a social worker. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot.
I guess so, especially as a social worker.
Yeah.
Um, you are starting working on a project. You want to tell us about that?
I have a book club that I'm starting because I find in these practices, we have conversations on Clubhouse all of the time. And through those conversations, I've written several books using the card. So I find that that's an easier way for people to understand numerology, cardology, and astrology. So I've written a book that has three short stories, and each scenario is based on, something that will help people resonate with understanding how just like with you and I, we're here having a conversation as an eight of diamonds and a nine of diamonds. What does that mean? The significance of us coming together. And in scenarios, I find that people have a better understanding when they see it. We're talking about it as opposed to the old way of learning, because Pluto is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is changing the game. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus rules metaphysics. So knowing this is something that I'm aware of, that I have to change the way that I teach, to change the way to get people more interested in the things that, people don't necessarily want to know about the eight of diamonds. They want to know about what they can do. How can they use these things? And they're not interested in the nuts and bolts of things anymore. People want to learn, but they want to be able to apply it. Just like the number one. The number one is telling us that we got to harmonize in order to see the potential of the number two. And then the number two is the expression of the number three. And then the number four puts it in a better perspective. And then five takes it out and makes it more, fives want to get out there and experience it. So when people have those understandings, then they can apply it to their life. So I come from that perspective of helping people to see how to apply it, because we can talk about it. Back in the day when you and I learned, we learned the nuts and bolts and things. People don't learn like that anymore.
Yeah, it was called reading, writing, arithmetic, and especially we're into reading. And nowadays it seems like it's almost makes you want to think reading is out of style, but quite the contrary.
Yeah, it's not that reading is out of style. It's just that English is a dead language. It doesn't really resonate like the ancient language do. So how do you translate these ancient teachings into this language is the problem, because this language doesn't have like, you have Sanskrit, you have so many beautiful languages that really translate well. But English, it just doesn't have that same, thing that people need in order to feel it, right? Just not the same. So, it's not that they don't want to do reading, writing, arithmetic. It's just that I was terrible in school. I hated it. And till this day, I don't like reading. I don't like any of those things because it doesn't resonate with me. I do it. But if I'm doing something, my spiritual practices in the languages that I do them in, I'm happy.
But what's interesting, because you said you're starting a book club, but you don't like reading.
No, I don't. I'm not that I don't like reading. I'm not a good reader.
There's a difference.
Yeah, I have dyslexia. I have all kind of things going on. Yes, I do. And as a child, nobody picked up that I have special needs. So I struggled. And as an adult, I had to learn how to do these things. But as a child, yeah, I was lost. So yeah, it's difficult when you have these things and nobody knows about it, and you struggle not to be found out, and it's difficult. So now, you talking about decades ago. For me, nobody ever thought anything about dyslexia or special needs or anything like that. I wanted to read, I just couldn't read in the way that the way that we do in this country. I just couldn't absorb it because my brain doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I'm more of a visual learner. I can hear somebody talking, I can hear a lecture, but for me, my modality of learning seems to be visual. If I see it, then I got it. And I guess everybody's got their own style of how they do it. Then some people can sit in a lecture, sit in a classroom and listen to every word and absorb and in their mind see it. Me, I got to see it. That's how I do it.
Well, that goes to the fact that the card of autism is the Five of Hearts, right? That's the card, the solar value, the solar value, the solar value of the Five of Hearts is the card of autism, right? And the card of autism has you and Pluto. So think about an autistic child is trying to express themselves. They're trying to express themselves from the nine of diamonds.
That's interesting. I'm just amazed how you do these cards. Ever since, when I met Aquarius Maximus, I thought she was something, but then when I met her mother, which is you like, it's interesting. It's just very interesting. I will say this. Also, each month introduces a new card. So since we're in the brand new month of August, the first show in August, what card dominates this month and what does that mean for everybody?
August is a King of Diamonds month, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I believe August is the King of Diamonds. No, yeah, we're in August. Yeah, King of Diamonds. September. No, August is the Jack of Clubs month. This is a Jack of Clubs month. Next month, September is the King of Diamonds month. So this is a Jack of Clubs month.
Okay, so what would that mean in general? Like, see, for me, numerically, August of this year is a 7 personal month, which to me governs the law of attractions, the law of things coming to the surface, especially that's been hidden, analysis, investigations, metaphysics, things of that nature. So, what does the Jack of Clubs represent overall for everybody?
Well, Jack of Clubs is a number 11, and it's ruled by Uranus, so it would totally be in alignment with that. When we look at the Jack of Clubs, we think of someone that's youthful, someone that the Jack of Clubs is someone that gathers the information and they bring it back. So, and because it's a club, we know this about all things mercurial. So they're very curious. They love to learn. They love to share their knowledge and information. So it would fit in alignment with metaphysics because Jacks are ruled by the number 11, which we know is a master number.
Sure. And the counter to it is the 7, because these are moon numbers. You know what I'm saying? The 7 rules the new side of the moon, and the number 2 rules the full side of the moon, but they're definitely correlated. So I just think that's interesting. Now, I need to ask you this too. In astrology, it starts off with the fire signs, and then it starts off with the earth signs, then the air signs. Now, fire and air goes together, earth and water goes together. What about shall we say, like, does diamond and clubs go together like fire and air, or does spades and hearts go together like earth and water? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it depends. Well, the year starts off with fire, which is spades. Spades represent fire. So the year does start off in January with fire signs. And the spades represent wisdom and they represent the elders. So spades, when we think of spades, we think of all of the elements, which are the hearts, the diamonds, and the clubs. So depending on how well that spade is able to express itself, it's pretty compatible with all of the other elements. Diamonds, they're the elders, they're the supervisors, and they're the ones that apply that pressure. So it's a little difficult sometimes for clubs and hearts because clubs are teenagers and hearts are babies. So it just depends on
Interesting.
yeah, it just depends on how you express these things, how evolved you are. Everybody can get along, that's not the issue. But say you have too much fire, then yeah, it's going to be a problem for anyone. If you have too much water, it's going to be a problem. So you want to balance it out. Your life path has 13 cards in it, so you can always balance out the elements.
Yeah, it's like sometimes too much of is bad as almost as if none of. Okay.
Mhm,
Now,
mhm.
in my experience, once I was exposed to cardology through you, I noticed when I looked at the background of people that I related to, family members and relatives, the overwhelming majority of them seem to be diamonds and clubs.
Mhm.
There's a couple of spades through in, maybe a little sprinkling of hearts, but there was mostly diamonds and mostly clubs.
Well,
What?
that would make sense because you're a teacher and you would express yourself in mercurial ways. So that would make sense that would be what you would be using is more clubs, and then be attracted to more clubs because you're using Mercury as your tool in life, right? So that would be in alignment with that attraction. Clubs are teenagers, and Nine of Diamonds is a youthful card because, like this month, the Jack of Clubs has a Nine of Diamonds as its Mercury card. So, Nine of Diamonds is a forever youthful card. So, having the support of the Jack of Clubs, the Jack of Clubs is a card that pushes you in life and is also known as your Moon card. So, you having that kind of support in life would make you, would make sense that you had more relationships with clubs, right?
Yeah, and a lot of my placements in Mercury too, which I think is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very, very interesting. All right, now there's a couple of things I want to show people, share with people, because you have written a couple of books. In fact, I got one. I couldn't find it to put it up, but this book here. Can you explain this book?
This book is a fundamentals book, teaching over the years, people are struggling with having an understanding. And like we said earlier on, I started with the fundamentals. So I just thought it would be good to have a fundamental book where people can just look and get an understanding of things fundamentally and then move on. Because I think in this time, with so much information out there that if you want to start on a level 12, you're gonna fall back to a level 1 and may give up. You may be disappointed in the lack of knowledge that you think you have, but it's not a lack of knowledge. It's just that you are taking on too much at one time. So I'm a fundamentalist. Like I said, I couldn't read as a child, and as I got more adverse in things, I learned that less is more. So then I built out from my knowledge and my understanding, especially with the masters that I'm under. But the fundamentals help me to explain it better. You know what I mean? As a
That makes
social
sense.
worker.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you got to start with the fundamentals before you go. And this one, tools for every. I like this one.
Yeah, tools for everyday life. This is for someone who wants to read, who wants to be a reader. It's a guide. It gives you, like, it breaks down all of the elements. It breaks down the planets. It breaks down numerology. It breaks down everything in one book. So if you want to read or if you just want to know more about yourself, I wrote this as a complement to my workbook. So this helps you to, having both of them together to have a better understanding of all of the modalities that we talk about.
Well, I guess you and I are similar. Because had somebody said, "Lloyd, you would write books," I'd say, "Yeah, right." Okay. I mean, that's how I was. I was not the best English student, and definitely not the best math student. Um, so, what do you think now that you've written these? And in fact, there's one or two more that I've got that you've written. Plus, you've written some things in the past, like the 2022 journal, 2023 journal that I didn't put. I was going to put up there, but those were back then. So I wanted to put what you have current and whatnot.
Hmm.
But what sparked you to write even the first book?
Just wanting, when I started out so many years ago, I didn't have the things that I needed. And as a social worker, I've created tools all throughout my career. So I just created tools that would help people, over the hurdles that the books that we have in metaphysics, they are priceless, but they're heavy. You know what I mean? They're heavy. And I just wanted to help people with my understanding now. So I put it in books because I had so much in my head. I have so much that I want to talk about to people. So getting it in books was a help for me, and then it's a help for people because when you're looking for something, it's like I got dozens and dozens of books, and I have them all spread out, and I'm turning this page, I'm turning that page. I just wanted to be of service and put everything in a book where you would be able to have it. And it's more for me. It's definitely more divine feminine because the majority of books out there were written in a time in an era when we were dealing with divine masculine. So I wanted to, something that me and my daughter, Aquarius Maximus, talked about all of the time, that we wanted to see ourselves represented in the work that we do. So that's why we write books.
There's this thing nowadays. It appears that with this attitude about, and you hear a lot more now about the divine feminine than divine masculine. But isn't it kind of all the same to a degree, except it seems like the emphasis is put on the divine feminine?
No, it's not. It never was the same. We didn't express ourselves. Back before, you're talking about hundreds of years ago, we totally didn't express ourselves. And we didn't even express ourselves probably well into the 2000s. This is a very divine masculine till this day, and a lot of the spiritual men that are in this are in it for a lot of different reasons, but not a lot to use their divine feminine. You know what I mean? The ones who are using their divine feminine is fine. But as me, when I first started, I got a lot of flack from a lot of men in this industry
Why?
because, yeah, well, haters. Plain and simple. It ain't hard to, just because I'm able to express myself, it's very intimidating, for a woman to be able to express herself. And I've sat with the greats. I've sat with Dr. Blaine, Dr. Clark, Phil Valentine. I've sat with every great that there was for years at their feet, learning and observing for years. So the information and stuff that I have is firsthand. I ain't read this stuff in books. I was in their presence for
Yeah,
years.
yeah, amen, amen.
So,
Because I knew them all
so
too personally.
yeah, so that's very intimidating. So I understand that. But I'm here to do the work. And before the divine masculine, before the divine feminine, there was an understanding. That understanding went away, and we can't blame it on white people. We can't blame nothing on white people. Black people, we don't love each other the way we're supposed to. If we loved each other and we did the things in order, we wouldn't be having a conversation about white people. So we don't love each other. We don't respect each other.
Amen on
And
that.
that's why I say I don't have to come back here, because I understand that. I understand what love is. I understand what being of service is. So we gotta learn how to be of service, especially to each other. Not saying anything. We both are divine feminine and divine masculine. I've had to learn how to use my divine masculine. Men are not learning how to use their divine feminine. That's where the rubber
That's
hits the road.
interesting. That's
I,
very interesting.
yeah, I had to learn how to use my divine masculine to survive in this world. But men are not as inclined to use their intuition. So when men use their intuition, then they're using their divine feminine. It's not that we have one and we all have it all, but it's through conditioning for sure. It's through a lack of having someone to give you those tools that you're not able to use that nurturing part of yourself. And that's a small part of the world. It's only online that we think these men dominate. They don't. They don't dominate.
You know what I think is interesting when you talk about the divine feminine? This country was founded in 1776, but it wasn't until the 1920s that women were allowed to vote in this country.
And
So when you
and
talk
and
about
to
all that
and to
masculine energy,
Yeah, yeah, but until 2024, there's still a lot of things that are wrong. So it's not voting is the least of it. There's still a look at Kamala. Kamala Harris has now got in where you would not see a woman of color get, and people are dragging her and tearing her down. You can disagree, but you don't disagree by destroying a woman. That just doesn't in society. If you destroy a woman, you destroy society. And men don't understand that. There's no reason why. There's no reason. You will have back in the day, they would say, we take you to the woodshed. Back
yep,
in the day,
yep,
we didn't
yep.
have these conversations like this. Now you have these conversations where you're destroying a woman. If you destroy a woman, you destroy society. And the fact that you don't know that, you don't have to agree with Kamala Harris. But the last thing you want to destroy is a woman of color on TV, on radio, everywhere that you doing. People are watching and saying, what is really wrong with these people?
And you got a lot of brothers and sisters doing it too.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm saying,
People are
yeah,
literally sitting back watching and saying, what's really wrong with these people? Because there are certain things, back in the day, we never had certain conversations. We never would say certain things in front of certain people. Right? We knew better, because if we came back to the block or we came back to the community, we went to the woodshed.
yeah, 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 definitely. But speaking of Kamala Harris, she's born October the 20th. So what card would she be?
Well, it's what is interesting about Kamala Harris is that she's two of clubs, and the two of clubs solar value.
Interesting.
We look at this solar value in cardology, which is very significant, and the solar value is 15, so that's a 15-6. So you notice she came here to express herself, right? So if we look at the one, and she clearly stands on that one, but she wants to push through with that five. She has broken down barriers in her career. She pushes the envelope, but that six brings it into balance, and she's ruled by Venus. So this is
Yes,
her
she
time.
is. Exactly.
This
Exactly.
is her time, whether you agree or not. She's in alignment with this time, and this is the 47th president of the United States, and we know that expresses itself as a master number. So the work that she
And in
has
fact, it
done.
adds 2011, which is a two, and she's born on the 20th, which is a two.
Yeah, so
That is,
everything is in alignment. You don't have to agree with it. If the fact that she knows how to express it is what you want to learn, is how can you express yours, not tear her down. The fact that you're tearing her down means that you don't know how to express your reason why you're here. You don't know your numbers. You don't know anything about yourself.
would it get back to that old program that we all know, Crabs in a Barrel, Misery Love Company? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That we have been programmed to do throughout these centuries. We've been here since we were enslaved.
No, that's not what it is. It says it's one coin with two signs. It's like you can't, the people who are doing this can't survive without a Kamala Harris. They can't survive without a Donald Trump. So you are Kamala Harris. You are Donald Trump. You are not any different. You need that energy to feed on. So what makes you different than the things that she does? Did you think you disagree with? No, because that's your bread and butter. People are making a lot of money off of the stuff that they do. So it's not crabs in the barrel. It's just that these people are very familiar with their energy field. We think it's like this is different. No, it's all the same. It's all energy. So when I see
Wow.
you, I see someone that is not able to express themselves at a higher level, because if you were at your optimum, you would not be destroying the person to make your living, right?
That is, you know what? That makes so much sense, Nina. That make you think you'd have something else better to do with your,
Something better to do.
really, honestly. Um, but Donald Trump, what is his card?
Donald Trump is a three of diamonds, and Donald Trump, his solar values are 29, which we know is the degree where things where you're going into the next house. But Donald Trump never leaves that house. And this is the mystery about Donald Trump. I say Donald Trump is a finesser, right? Donald
Mhm.
Trump doesn't need to know anything. All he needs to know what you don't know. If he knows what you don't know, he hones in on it and he finesses you. And we saw that when he had the debate with Biden. Donald Trump never answered a question. He just pointed out that Biden was not capable of whatever job he did. Biden came through the Pluto return, and he's ruled by Pluto. So he brought everything with him, and Donald Trump just exposed him. So Donald Trump is a finesser. It's like, I don't have to know anything about the politics of the United States. All I got to do is prove you don't know.
You know what's interesting? Biden is a Scorpio, which planetary ruler now is assigned to Pluto,
Yep. And
which I
he
think
is,
is interesting.
yeah, and he's not doing very well, right? Because we went through, the United States had its first Pluto return. It takes 248 years. Yeah, we get up every day like nothing changed, but it has changed. The
Yeah,
United States is
yeah.
in a new energy field, and people are dying every day. People are leaving here, literally leaving here, because they can't. The energy field has changed so drastically that people are leaving out of here. Maybe they want to come back and experience it as a child. Maybe they're leaving out of here because they're just tired. But you can see that Biden, I hate to say this, but I do believe Kamala will be president before November.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one of that belief too. And looking at her cycles, she's definitely in to me, a Jupiter cycle, or be entering a Jupiter cycle, which would just only expand opportunities, and it works for the government and things of that nature. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I do have an interesting question, though. Maybe this person here, overzealous brainiac, says, "What should an ace of diamonds be focused on this month?" Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, when we look at it, and when we're looking at your card, I like to look at the collective energy, and the collective energy would be the United States. Let me get to that. So, the collective energy for the Ace of Diamonds, where we start at with cardology, is we'll start at the weekly, but with a question like that, I'll start at the year. And the Ace of Diamonds expresses itself as a number one because Ace is a number one. And
Mm-hmm.
the Ace of
Mm-hmm.
Diamonds is about new opportunities. And the Ace of Diamonds this year in the United States, and this is why it's important, because when you go out into the world, you're thinking that, it's just me. No, when you go out into the world, you're bringing all of that energy with you. And the Ace of Diamonds is a very vital card. It's a card that people want to hold, right? Because of the magic of that card. And this year, you are displacing your Venus, which is the Five of Hearts. So this is a year about relationships for you. Change your relationships is about how you express yourself. Fives, they want to express themselves, but they want to push. They want to push through. They don't want to be just the average. With the Five of Hearts, we're talking about a very youthful energy, and this is where you were talking about earlier. Aces are the supervisors, and five, the hearts are the babies. So this is a year where you get, we call it mutual receptions, like your Ace of Diamonds and the Five of Hearts is your Venus. So that's a mutual reception where you're getting to know deeper things about yourself, deeper things about relationships, how you relate to people. So with this Five of Hearts this year, you need to have fun. You need to give yourself, you need to be able to have as much fun as you possibly can, and especially in relationships, and looking for people to come back into your life depending on how well you've handled relationships, because this is the collective, and that's a karmic situation. Venus, anything dealing with Venus in that seventh house, so you're going to be looking at people coming back that may have changed, you may have changed, but you just want to do that litmus test before you open up those old doors and make sure that this is something. Because, Ace of Diamonds, y'all can hold on to stuff longer than its expiration date. So, just be mindful when you're out and about in the public. Your challenge this year is a Four of Diamonds. So, and, they say fours represent stability, but for me, fours represent more foundational things. I think of fours as architect. They're trying to build foundations, but in life, do you ever have a sturdy foundation? There's always something that's going to come along. So your finances this year will be going through some sort of upheavals and changes, because fours is ruled by Uranus, but this is positioning you to be in a better place. The Four of Diamonds is reminding you that structurally there are things that are going to shift in your life, and you just got to be prepared, to, make sure that you have all eyes on your resources.
Mm-hmm. Listen, this is interesting because this is something I never thought about. This says I'm an Ace of Club birth card with a Two of Hearts as my twin soul card.
Yeah, the Ace of Clubs and the Two of Hearts are semi-fixed cards. There are four semi-fixed cards in the deck, and they're the special cards. And the Ace of Clubs has a semi-fixed card, which they only change places. The cards, each one of the cards, we travel around the board. But the Ace of Clubs and the Two of Hearts, they're like conjoined twins. They only know each other. So yeah, they are soulmates to each other.
Interesting. This person says, "What disciplines do you practice daily?" I would imagine she's referring to what you do.
I practice Krishna consciousness.
Okay. And she is the 8th of October.
Yes, so that makes you October the 8th, makes you Libra for sure, but
Definitely.
you are October the 8th, makes you another Ace of Diamonds.
She's an Ace of Diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. She's an Ace of Diamonds. So the same thing would go for you this year in the collective. If you're looking to start a new relationship this year, if you're in a relationship, what's more important if you're in a relationship is to have fun, because the five of hearts is a card of divorce. So you want to, sometimes we go through things in life and we end things. When that five of hearts comes up, we can end things too quickly because of that five mercurial energy, wanting to be curious and get out there and do something. Next year, you're going to regret it.
Interesting. And that's very, very, very interesting. Uh,
Hey, King Simon.
yeah, that's my buddy. In fact, congratulations to him. He was given, Sonny Carson had his annual award ceremony, and King Simon won an award this year for having the best TV show, because Billy Carson has a TV series.
Hmm.
So of those, King Simon won
I
providing.
voted for him. I voted for him. So yeah, I was supposed to be there, but there was a tragedy in the family, so I wasn't able to go.
Sorry to hear that. And he's a number one like you. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, let's see. Let's see. This is from Oracle. Peace, love, and light to all the lovely sister Nina Diamond. Uh, things of that nature. And Jazz Aphrodite always does the moderations on Monday. So, and Empress Rel on Wednesday. So they keep me in line and whatnot like that. Okay, I have a question. This person, now this is 2 days past that October the 8th, which is an ace of diamond. If the person's an ace of diamond, would therefore this lady
She's
be a queen of diamonds since it moves backwards?
no. If we're going after the Ace of Diamonds starts club season, so if she's October the 10th, that makes her Queen of Clubs, I believe. Yeah,
Oh,
she's a
she's
queen.
into the clubs 1st.
Yeah, it's a Queen of Clubs. Yeah, she's a Queen of
I
Clubs.
know she's got a lot of zeros in her birthday, which is the number of infinity, 10/10/2002. So C is a club. What would that mean to her?
Well, Queen of Clubs is clubs are ruled by the number 12, which is mastery, and you're here to express that. And as a Queen of Clubs, you're using Mercury, because clubs are ruled by air and Mercury. So you're here to express the things that you're here to express is wisdom for sure. Queen of Clubs is like, for me, it's like the mother to the world. They have so much intuition and very perceptive, but they have a Jack of Hearts and Pluto, so they can sometimes sacrifice themselves too much. So you're here to learn how to do the work and walk away. Queens of Mirrors, the number 12 is here to express itself. And then it's a 12-3. So you think of how well you develop yourself, how well you're able to harmonize situation. And sometimes what's the tough part for the Queen of Clubs, not being able to harmonize situations, taking them too personally, because you're supposed to see the potential. It's like when a one meets a two, you have to see the potential in that. But if you haven't harmonized yourself, the potential, and then it becomes trauma bonding. So you don't want to trauma bond with the people that you meet, because then you're expressing trauma with that 3. And that's not a good look. So that Queen of Clubs wants to be able to harmonize situations. So it's standing on that Jack of Hearts being Pluto. You spend a lot of time in transformation, but if you aren't aware that it's all about you, and you think it's that reflection that you're seeing in that person, and you're not harmonizing the situation, yeah, you just a hot mess. You're just everywhere.
I like how you put that. And we all know what a hot mess is too. Here's my question. I can read people, but the irony is I can't read me. Have you found that your case too?
That I don't necessarily, I don't read
If
my
that makes sense.
yeah, I look at my stuff, and then I learn how to harmonize the things that I find about myself. But reading myself, no, I have people that assist me with that. But I look at my life path and my numbers and stuff like that to help me harmonize situations.
Yeah, I do the same. And yet if I have somebody born on my birthday, I can read them like Nothing.
Yeah,
Turn
I
it
can't.
around
I
on
don't
me.
read. Yeah, I don't read Eight of Diamonds at all. I don't. I don't read Eight of Diamonds at all. That is not something that I try. I try to avoid that.
Now, a little bit back, they put down the university where they can get the books. Is this where they can get the books at?
Yeah, they can get the books on my website and on Amazon.
Okay,
So if
as
you
well as
want them
this one.
fast, if you want them quickly, Amazon. My workbook is on sale now on Amazon, so you can get that on there. If you want it overnight and stuff like that, Amazon is the best. For me, if you order from me, it's going to take a little longer. So it's just your preference.
Okay, good, good, good. Um, all right. This person says men be like logically speaking. I don't kind of know what that means.
Trying to say men use the left side of their brain. That's what he's saying. They're not using their intuition. They're using logic, and you got to balance it out. I use logic too, but I balance it out with my intuition. So, yeah, logically speaking, you get yourself in a lot of trouble not understanding that there's a different way to. It's not the things that you say, is how you say them. It's not the things that you do, is how you do it. So you got to balance it out. You can think you know something, and what I find now is that people that haven't experienced things are the ones talking the loudest. And I can tell because
Isn't
people
that interesting?
yeah,
Right?
because people who experience things really never have a lot to say because the experience is the teacher. So the people who haven't experienced things talk a lot. They make up experiences in their mind, but once you've had the experience, you learn how to harmonize it. It doesn't trigger you. People that are triggered all of the time, yeah, you're not, you have to evolve, and learn how to harmonize situations, especially in this time, unless you just feel like you want to keep coming back for the next 10,000 years. That's 10,000, 100,000. How many times you want to come back down to this shit show?
And that's a long wait
A
too. A very
long
long wait.
time. So you want to harmonize the energy. When you have a situation with someone, people say it's a mirror. I don't necessarily agree with that in thinking that when I see people, I see myself. That's not true. When I see, there's lots of things that I can see that I need to adjust or something like that. But I don't necessarily agree that you're a mirror to me. That's not, it for me, it takes on a different kind of science. I'm a scientist. So it takes on a scientific approach to me. And when you look in the mirror, what do you see? I've never seen myself. I only see a reflection, right? So when I look in the mirror, so I take on a different scientific approach. And when I look at you, you're not my reflection.
That's interesting. That's an interesting way of looking at it. That's for sure.
Yeah, because I'm scientific. I need to know the science of it. I need to know the mathematics of it. So who you are is not a reflection of me because we haven't had the same experiences. Yes, there are things that I will learn, but my experiences are totally different from yours and your experiences. Now we come together and we harmonize it, right? Make it make sense, like they say. But you're a murderer. I'm not a murderer. You're a rapist. I'm not a rapist. You're a school teacher. I'm not a school teacher. So I don't necessarily apply that in the same way that people apply it.
Well, I guess that's what makes you different than the kind of woman you are. God bless you. You know, this person here says they are four of diamonds and number seven. They're going into a seven personal year. What to look out for them if they are four of diamonds in a 7 year?
Well, if you're in your 7 years, you're at the end of a cycle in cardology. So that's significant. That means you're moving into a new cycle. In numerology, a 7 year takes on a different, we know the seven is ruled by Neptune. So this is an introspective year. This is a year where you could definitely be delving into metaphysics and getting a better understanding, but it's also a 12th house. So you want to be mindful of that, not delving in too deep. This is a spiritual year where you want to be aware of that Piscean energy that could have you thinking something is the way it is and isn't. And the four of diamonds, not by no strange coincidence, you are a Neptune card. So a 7 year is probably difficult for you because the four of diamonds is an idealistic card. You sit in Venus, Neptune. Now those two planets, they're very good together. But when you aren't, as a four, you're expressing yourself. So fours want to express themselves from their three. So if you haven't done the work and you haven't, if like you have so many things that you're working on, by the time you get to that four, what are you expressing? That four wants to bring that ephemeral into context. So what kind of context is the four of diamonds looking? I think the four of diamonds is one of the most magical cards. You have so much magic attached to you as long as you stay out of that idealistic viewpoint that you have of the world, and that viewpoint that things are, sometimes things change for the four of diamonds with that four energy, with that Uranus energy, that can be a you know abrupt or whatever the word. I don't even know why I can't even say. I'm trying to say, right. But you're Neptunian by nature, so Neptune takes time. So even though it seems like it's happening fast, Neptune slows it down. So four diamonds deals with that ebbing and that flowing and that up and down, and sometimes they can be very how would I say, it can be, how you have something that seems like it's very charged, supercharged, got a lot of anxiety. Four diamonds can suffer with that because Uranus and Neptune together, and then you're throwing in Venus there. That energy together, if you are using it at its highest, it's good, but at its lowest, that's the 12th house, and that's dealing with a lot of darkness and a lot of things that really mentally can affect the four of diamonds. We look at little Kim as a four of diamonds, right? And people want to know why she has changed herself. But the four of diamonds, if we look at the four of diamonds, and this is in cardology, the solar value to the four of diamonds is, let me see, the solar value to the four of diamonds is 17, is 30, right? So 30 is a master number, and how she expresses herself, she got infinite possibilities. Unfortunately, she decides to change her look all the time. But four of diamonds, y'all have infinite possibilities. You're so creative that three is a creative number. And then you step into the zero, which is the void, and everything comes out of the zero. So unfortunately, little Kim changes her personality, her persona, and that, because
And
that's how
she's
she's
going to change
expressing.
her whole facial look too.
Yes, how expressing itself. So that Neptunian effect that makes you delusional, or dealing with things on a different level, we can see that in her. So the four of diamonds needs to learn how to express themselves with the infinite possibilities. But that means that you're going to be dealing with wisdom, you're going to be dealing with spirituality, but that's your wisdom and your spirituality. And you have one of the most powerful cards in the deck in Pluto, which is the King of Spades. So when the four of diamonds opens their mouth, lots of times nobody understands what they're saying. Right? Lots of
Interesting.
times it's so far over people's head, because you imagine you're sitting in the eighth house with the King of Spades, which is the guard card, and the kind of conversations you having. Yeah, four of diamonds are deep.
This person, first of all, thanks so much for the donation. They are August the 14th, 76. They are Queen of Clubs.
Thank you, Mimosa. She put the word in there. She know me, right? She said, I know what you're trying to say, Diamond. I was trying to say abrupt. I'm sorry, what would you say?
No, for the person that just made the donation, for which I thank them, they are, see, to me, they are a fire sign with an air number, but they said they're a Queen of Clubs.
Yeah, well, that's we spoke about that earlier with the Queen of Clubs and how they're here to express themselves. Queen of Clubs, as they get older, the wisdom of the Queen of Clubs, because they're so intuitive. I think of Queen of Clubs like mechanics, their brain is just so far beyond anything the queen is really the highest expression when it comes to intuition. The kings don't necessarily express through intuition, so the queen of clubs is more powerful than the king of clubs when it comes to intuition. They are co-rulers, but the queen of clubs is here, like I said, to you start something with the queen of clubs starts something, she initiates something, and then she has to move on. And I often find the queen of clubs stay around long past their expiration date. You can't help everybody. They are Captain Save-A-Hole. It's like if I give you $25, the queen of clubs wants to make sure you spend it right. That's not your business. Let them spend the $25. If they spend it on drugs, oh well, don't give them $25 anymore. The queen of clubs wants to, they hold on. They have a Jack of Hearts and Pluto, and the Jack of Hearts is the Christ card. And Christ, every time you've seen the Christ perform a miracle, the Christ walked away. Read the book. The Christ never sat down with people. Every time the miracle was performed, the Christ was leaving, because the Christ is the initiator. Jacks are initiators. They initiate the process, and you got to do the work, right?
That's interesting. Kai Love says she would like to know what her card is. She's the 24th of
she's a heart, I believe. Let me see.
September.
September the 24th makes her, no, she's not. She's September 24th makes her a king of hearts. So she's a master of, king of hearts is here to master the emotions. No, or September, let me see. Wait, I think no.
Yeah, she's September. She's a Libra like you.
September the 24th. Yes, that makes you a king of hearts. And the king of hearts is here to master. That's Biden's card. And it's also DMX's card. And the king of hearts is 13. Kings are ruled by 13. So king of hearts, you're here to disrupt things. You may not necessarily like that, but as a 13, you express yourself as a 4. And as a master, you're here to change the game. So you may find yourself in difficult situations. People may feel that you're difficult, but no, shit had to happen. So you have to, what mastery looks like is not the same thing as people see it. To become a master, you got to do the work, right? And you're dealing with emotions. So learning to master your emotions and learning to be more, when we think about 13, it's harmonizing things. So the king of hearts has to harmonize their relationships, because you're looking at how you're going to express it. In the 4s, and then in the ephemeral reign is, how are we going to express this? So with you or someone who hasn't harmonized things, as soon as you come into situations, you're going to disrupt them, because 4 is disruptive. So you got to learn how to harmonize your relationships, harmonize your everything that you're doing. So when you come in, you bring that mastery with you, right? Because you look at you, you're very beautiful, and you have that look. You have that look where, someone should see you and understand that, yeah, you don't want this, right? Because you could hurt people.
Right? This is Nature's Native. She says, "Oh wow, I need to learn about cardology. How can people learn about cardology, and what kind of number is she? She's just born 3 days past Kai Love."
So that makes you 927, makes you 10 of hearts. 927 makes you a 10 of hearts. Now this is how a good way for you to learn cardology, because this is a 6 of diamonds week, and the 6 of diamonds has the 10 of hearts as its Venus card. So this is a week where people are gonna, 10 of hearts is talking, when it comes together, it's gatherings. And it's gatherings, we have parties and weddings and graduations and stuff. It's a card that wants to come together and gather. It's a card that's very loving, and just a great energy to have around. You will find that people want to protect you. People want to protect the 10 of hearts. But learning cardology, you can definitely get my workbook. You can join me. I have a class coming up. I do teach on Clubhouse, and I have videos on YouTube and stuff like that. So there are other teachers out there now. If you're on IG, just type in cardology there and follow #cardology, because there's somebody giving a class every week now. So you just have to pick the person that resonates with you. But as a 10 of hearts, this is your week. You will find yourself, just take care of yourself. Make sure that you're doing self-care, because you'll find yourself being pulled on a lot, because you're the Venus card for the week. And pretty much everybody wants a relationship. They say they don't, but this week they will. They'll want a relationship. With the 10 of hearts,
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
people are feeling that, yeah, I want to be with somebody this week.
I have two more because I realize it's almost hour. It's time has gone by having fun. This person made a donation. Then we have one more. They said they're the 16th of April. They said they are a 5 of diamond with a 5 life path and a 1 personal year. So obviously they've done some homework.
Yeah, well, the 5 of diamonds, you are the flavor, the savor. You are the card of the year because you're sitting in the sun. So over the last 5 to 6 years, you were prepared for this moment. You're still young, but you would have gone through things that would prepare you for recognition, because life is getting ready to start for you. You know, this happens every 45 years. So it happened to you 45 years from now. And you know, fives are here to express themselves, but the 5 of diamonds is Saturn, Neptune, and Saturn is retrograde, and so is Neptune. So this is a very important time for you, because retrogrades want you to do that introspective work. It's like if your parents went on vacation and you threw a party, when they came back, you were going to suffer the consequences. So Neptune wants you to look at the things, and Saturn, they want you to look at the things that you need to address inside of your internals. So when it goes direct in November, you're okay. It's like, I have the discipline. I've proven to Saturn that I have the discipline, because Saturn wasn't there. It's like I'm taking responsibility. You know, 5 of diamonds, you're not responsible. You fives are not responsible. You know, that's just not where it's Mercury, and you're curious and you want to live life on the edge. So this until November is, you want to make sure that you are disciplining yourself, that you're taking responsibility for things, and that you have an understanding that you know you're getting ready to take off. This is, you only get this time every 45 years personally for you. So this is
Wow.
an extremely powerful time for you.
Wow. Listen, this person kind of sounds like you, Nina. Greetings to the both of you. I'm in Aries 2 of spade. I'm displacing the 8 of diamonds this year. Can you please speak about my 10 of spades in Uranus this year?
Well,
That went right over my head.
Well, as a 2 of spades, I am your Uranus card. So you are sitting in your Uranus. So think about the things that you are trying to you know, 8 is pushing through, right? It's like the 8 of diamonds in Uranus for you. Uranus and Saturn, they work very well together. They can't be without each other. But when they don't work well together, they can be a shit show. And for you, it gives you a lot of nervousness. The 2 of spades is it's a card of friendship, and it's one of the most powerful tools in the deck, but you have a lot of nervousness attached to it, right? So this year, with you displacing the 8 of diamonds, yeah, you're going to be called into situations that are going to make you uncomfortable. 2 of spades doesn't want to be uncomfortable. When we think of twos, what are twos looking for? Harmony, right? So this is a year where you are dealing with Uranus, and Uranus does not deal with harmony. Uranus is telling you about your future and your hopes and wishes. So you just got to make sure that you're making plans, that you are understanding that this is about generational change for you. And a 10 of spades being your Uranus, that's a MasterCard. So you're looking at mastery. You're looking at stepping up into more holistic things. You know, I think of the 10 of spades as a Reiki card, as a master teacher, and someone is a master healer. You know, so those are the things. And spades are about healing. They're about wealth and health and all that kind of stuff. So this year, you can hit me up for a reading, because I can't even think about your whole thing right there as a 2 of spades. You need a hug because you
Well,
got a lot going on.
well, I just want to acknowledge one more person because they made a big donation. They didn't give their birthday, although the moderator did ask for the birthday, but I thanked them. But I will say this. One clue is they're born in 1965, okay? So what it tells me is if I did the name of the person, James is a 14.5, Johnson is a 33.6. So 5 plus 6 is 9, which means by name, he's a master number 11, visionary, things of that nature. I'm seeing sevens in the name, which would indicate a very kind of like spiritual, analytical thing. But I'm also looking at the fact that he's got a lot of ones. He's got one, and I didn't even do his middle name. I just did his first and last name because he says James Jeffrey Johnson, probably the birth name, but probably, and knowing people how they do, they'll probably call him JJ, because people get lazy and start shortcutting what.
Yeah. Well, at 59 years old, because he would be 59, right? That's
Yep.
65. So at 59 years old, this is a year of change for you. This is a year where you're experiencing a lot of change, definitely in communication. People are if you're not understanding that this is a personal year for you, your communication could be coming off in a way where it's offsetting to people. But there are lots of changes that are happening in your life, lots of dramatic changes in your life, but you want to have fun, you want to experience life this year.
Let
You
me
want
let me stop you a second. He did include his birthday, to be more specific, December the 1st of 1965. So what card would he be on December the 1st? And then we'll wrap it up.
December the 1st makes him a four of diamonds. So that just adds perfectly to what I'm saying, is that you want a lot of change. You want to experience change with your communication, because the five of clubs is your challenging karma card. You have an ace of spades that's displacing you this year, so it's about transformation for you. You'll have lots of many deaths and rebirths, right? And having an understanding that um, you're here to experience life. Being down in Neptune is a four of diamonds. It takes your time to rise up out of that water. But this year at 59, it's going to be an abrupt change, because you're going into 60, right? When you just came out of your Saturn return, at your second Saturn return at 58, and you're displacing the seven of clubs. So like I was saying before I knew what your birthday was, it's about the conversation this year. You're someone that is going to be challenged. You're someone that people may find offsetting with how you're changing. So you're going to have to really pull back and do that introspective work, which you're good at that. Four diamonds is good at that. But you got a message this year. There's a message that you're trying to deliver, and it has a lot to do with siblings and early childhood and all that kind of stuff. But just be mindful, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
I say, got you on that one. Listen, Nina, uh, this is how people can get in touch with her for consultations and whatnot. Now, so for people who can then begin to enroll in your forthcoming book club, how do they do it?
Just follow me on Instagram. I'm going to put up, it's going to be on Zoom. You have to get the book, and the book is our first book club, and we're going to have it every 30 days. We're going to vote on a book, and we're going to break it down with the cards. The first one, of course, is my book, which is Celestial Patterns, and it's a book that I wrote specifically for book club. So that's Get It Celestial Patterns on Amazon. And I'm going to post how you're going to be able to sign up on my Instagram.
Okay, good. Right here, Jazz is putting how the people can get her book. Just go to Amazon and click on the link. And also, she gave out the address of your 11 University. I'm trying to find that so people can. Well, let me say this stuff. While I'm looking for that, any parting words for everybody out there, knowing that this is
No.
going to be a
Mhm.
crazy, crazy kind of ending of a year, so to speak.
Well, you need to take your pulse and see where you are. If you're caught in the mundane will, you're going to feel the mundane will. This is a time where, as we're doing these teachings and we're learning these teachings, because we are detached from the mundane world. The mundane world is always going to be what it is. It's a distraction. As we elevate ourselves and we raise our frequency, we're not detached. We're not distracted. Things are happening, but we're detached from it. It's a show that we're watching. But like I said, if you want to come back, and just Google Kali Yuga. That's all you got to do. You don't even have to say it into it, and you'll be able to have that understanding. Hold on 1 minute. I gotta get.
Okay. So let me see. So she's going to do that. But let me say this, everybody, thank you very, very much. There's a couple of things I want to do, but I want to just hold up till she gets back a second. I know sometimes you got to answer a door or whatever the case is. But anyway, Neena, I want to thank you very, very much for joining us this
Thank
evening.
you.
And so Jazz has put up where people can purchase the book at. Go to 11 University. I like how you left out the E. It's 11university.com/books. Okay. So I want you to have a blessed, blessed day. And thank you so, so much.
You're
Okay.
welcome. Thank you.
Good, good. So everybody, this is you see there, please, and don't forget, please show her a little love at Cash App under, does dollar sign go in front of Saturn 796?
Yes, and it's a dollar sign. And Brandy said, "Am I teaching cardology certifications?" Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good, good. I'm glad. Okay, so everybody, I want to thank you very, very much, and especially for okay, everybody, listen, have a great day. Mercury's retrograde for this August, so it's going to be very interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Mercury retrograde only affects people who don't know how to communicate. I'm just saying, if you don't know how to
Because it's the
communicate,
communication planet. That makes
yeah,
all the sense in the
if
world.
you know how to communicate, Mercury retrogrades too often for it to be triggering you. It just does. It's a planet that retrogrades the most, right? It just wants us to learn how to communicate better. If
And here we
retrogrades
go.
are about you looking at yourself. If we look at Mercury retrograde and we're looking outside, we miss the picture. All retrogrades are saying, look at you. So it's telling you you need to address the things that Mercury is detached. Mercury doesn't care. Mercury is the only detached non-binary planet out there, and people don't even know that. Mercury doesn't care. It doesn't care. So you getting caught up in Mercury is like, it's like Mercury is like, I don't care. Learn how to communicate during this time. That's it, right?
Well, let me say this. Please make sure you purchase. She's written several books, but I just have two here: astrology, numerology, and cardology, and also her other book too, which is Tools for Everyday Life. I love the title, and I like how you put all that together to make sure that people learn the fundamentals, because you can't build anything unless you have the basics. That's
Absolutely.
that's impossible. That's impossible. Anyway, Neena, thank you so much. Love you
You're
so much.
welcome.
You
Thank
take care.
you. All
And
right.
you will be back. We'll probably have you back to forecast what's going to be up for the end of the year. That should be fun.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, everybody, before we go, let me just tell you that our sponsors, I'm going to work backwards, is Nicholas Brooklyn. Let me see this. Um, at 1396 Fulton Street. She is going to be a guest on my show later on this month of August. And I thank her very, very much. Also, uh, Dr. I call him Doctor. His name is Riza Islam. As brilliant as his brother is, he should be a doctor. He could be under any other circumstances. But he has his supplement. And with his supplement, when you order it, just put in the code number so you can get this 10% discount for um, King Simon, who is going to be on the show later on this month, talking about his book for children and also the salute or tribute that he's going to give out to our ancestor, Baba Dick Gregory, and also to Miss Kimberly. Her podcast, Manifest on Purpose, is heard each Monday and Wednesday. She's also added another feature that's on Sunday called Weekly Wisdom, and she's also providing other services too. So I will say this too. Uh, Please make sure that you go to your audiobook to listen from Knocking from the Inside. This is the book cover. You need to own this book, okay? But it is now available on Audible. And so I think still I didn't check with her, but I think it was uh, available for actually no charge at all. But whatever it is, please, actually, to hear the audible is one thing. To read it, it gets even juicier. By the way, for those, the August newsletter is out. Alrighty, all of you who subscribe to the newsletter, which is absolutely free. We don't sell your mailing list to anybody. Don't play that. And so the beautiful part about the last couple of months is not only is it in a readable form, but it's also in an audible form, and you can hear it, but it's totally different the way I write it, what you read, and the way you hear it when I say it. And I say it in a more narrative way, kind of interesting way. And so that's it. And by the way, when you go to the site, you'll see that kind of at the bottom left will be a timestamp. So you don't have to wait till all the signs, just go to your sign. And if you, and the beautiful part is this, some of you are in the signs, some of you are into your sun sign, some of you are into your moon, some of you into your ascendant. So why not read all three of what is said? And then that way you get a montage of your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant all at once, if that makes sense. So I do want to thank you. And also, please, I thank you very, very much for subscribing to or downloading the Star 8 app. And it is getting better and better. And for those of you who like to give it 5 stars, and in fact, on Wednesday's show, I'm going to be talking exclusively about how it works, because I've had so many people ask me about it. I should have been a made a video, but it's I'm going to make it live on Wednesday, going through all the features. So for those of you who have your app, make sure you have it ready so you can check out what I'm talking about and things like that, because there are going to be future improvements on so too. So I'll bring you up to date on that. But in the meantime, everybody, I do want to thank you very, very much. And for all of you, take care. This is Mercury Retrograde. And don't forget, I will be back on Wednesday. And the topic will be a Star 8, how it works, and all the features therein. All right. Have a nice day until then.